Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. South Korea on edge as investigators seeking to arrest impeached President Yoon, blocked by a military unit inside the president's residence. Supporters clash with the police. FBI says New Orleans attacker acted alone, supported ISIS. US President Joe Biden says no safe harbor in US for ISIS. A US Special Forces soldier blew up a Tesla Cybertruck in Las Vegas, shot himself in the head before the blast. Motivation still unknown. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu approves delegation to resume ceasefire negotiations in Doha. Israeli airstrikes kills Gaza police chief, target Syrian army positions. And in sports, Jasprit Bumrah led Indian side bat first against Australia in the final showdown of the Border Gavaskar Trophy after regular captain Rohit Sharma opts out in Sydney Test. South Korea's police officers have arrived at President Yoon Suk-yeol's home in a bid to arrest him over his short-lived declaration of martial law in early December. About 20 investigators from the Corruption Investigation Office and police officers were seen entering the gate of Yoon's residence in Seoul to execute the warrant for his detention. Hundreds of Yoon supporters gathered on the main road close to the police and tried to deny access to his home. Yoon's lawyer said they will challenge the unlawful arrest warrant. The embattled president is wanted for questioning in multiple investigations, include accusations of leading an insurrection after he suddenly declared martial law in early December. A court on Tuesday approved the warrant for Yoon, the first time such a move has been taken towards a sitting president. Yoon was suspended from duties on 14 December after lawmakers voted to impeach him, but he can only be removed from office if this is upheld by the country's constitutional court. The US President Joe Biden said on Thursday that he learned from intelligence meetings that the US Army veteran who drove a truck into a crowd of New Year's Day revelers had pledged allegiance to Islamic State but acted alone in the attack that killed at least 14 people. The suspect, who the FBI said was shot dead at the scene, has been identified as Shamsuddin Jabbar, posted videos on Facebook on the morning of the attack in which he said he supported the ISIS. Biden said, as per the FBI, there is no link between the attack in New Orleans and the incident in Las Vegas on the same day.
Unmistakable message. They will not let this attack or the attackers' deluded ideology overcome us. None of us should fear that he'll overcome us. We're going to continue to relentlessly pursue ISIS and other terrorist organizations where they are, and they'll find no safe harbor here. I'll continue to provide updates in New Orleans and Las Vegas as the facts develop.
A US Special Forces soldier who blew up a Tesla Cybertruck outside the Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas shot himself in the head before the blast. US law enforcement officials say his motivation is still unknown. Matthew Livelsberger, a member of the elite Green Berets, took his own life in the rented vehicle filled with fuel containers and fireworks, which then erupted into flames. Livelsberger's body was burned beyond recognition. Las Vegas police said he had been identified as a driver of the vehicle and that the coroner had ruled he had died by suicide. Livelsberger, identified through his military ID, passport and credit cards, was found with a gun at his feet. A small plane crashed into a commercial building in Southern California on Thursday, killing one and injuring several others, according to local authorities. Aerial footage of the crash aftermath showed a plume of smoke rising from an open hole in the building's roof, though firefighters were able to extinguish the blaze at the root of the smoke. As per reports, the crash occurred after the plane's pilot requested an emergency landing at Fullerton Municipal Airport shortly after takeoff, according to the Orange County Register, which noted clearance was given to use either side of the runway. Over 100 people were evacuated from the building the plane collided with. And Brazil has started examining the black box recorders from a Brazilian-made jetliner that crashed in Kazakhstan, killing 38 of the 67 people aboard. The decoding of the plane's recorder data will be undertaken by FAB's Data Reading and Analysis Laboratory in collaboration with technicians from Kazakhstan, where the plane crash occurred. Azerbaijan, the origin of the flight and home to the airline, and Russia, the flight's final destination. Embraer 190 crashed near Akhtau, Kazakhstan on December 25th, resulting in 38 deaths. This incident has created tension between Russia and Azerbaijan, with the latter alleging that the plane was accidentally shot down by Russian forces. The crash occurred amidst Ukrainian drone attacks in southern Russia. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has approved the return of Israeli negotiators to Doha for continuation of Gaza ceasefire talks. The negotiations are currently on standstill, with mediators reporting substantial disagreements over key terms. The deal would have facilitated the release of up to 30 captives held by Hamas in exchange for Palestinian prisoners and increased humanitarian access to the Gaza Strip. Tel Aviv wants a deal that does not include stopping the conflict and withdrawing fully from Gaza. Meanwhile, Israeli airstrikes across the Gaza Strip on Thursday killed the chief of Gaza's police force and his deputy. Israel said the head of Hamas internal security forces in southern Gaza, the terrorist Hassam Shahwan, was eliminated in an intelligence-based strike in Al-Mawasi, just west of the city of Khan Yunis. IDF said Shahwan was responsible for developing intelligence assessments in coordination with elements of Hamas military wing in attacks on the IDF in Gaza. It added that the Hamas internal security forces have conducted violent interrogations of the Gazan population, violating human rights and suppressing dissent within the organization. In some other related updates, Israel's special forces raided an underground missile production site in Syria in September. Informing about the same on Thursday, Israel said it was primed to produce hundreds of precision missiles for use against it by the Iranian-backed Hezbollah. The military released footage showing Israeli troops boarding and dismounting from helicopters and moving through what appears to be a concrete lined tunnel, an industrial site where they examined documents. Other footage shows senior commanders at a control center apparently as the operation proceeds. As Assad's government crumbled towards the end of last year, Israel launched a series of strikes against Syrian military infrastructure and weapons manufacturing sites to prevent them falling into the hands of enemies. Syria's top diplomat arrived in Saudi Arabia in a landmark first visit abroad by members of the new Syrian administration less than a month after it took power. Syria's new appointed Foreign Minister Asad Hassan al-Shibani met with Saudi Foreign Minister Prince Faisal bin Farhan bin Abdullah Al Saud in Riyadh. Salman said in a post on X that he had discussed with Syria's new Foreign Minister how best to support Syria's political transition. Shibani headed the Syrian delegation that included Defense Minister Murhaf Abu Kasra. The meeting also included Syria's intelligence chief. The visit came less than a month after Bashar al-Assad was ousted by rebels. Now, Syrian forces carried out security checks in homes looking for pro-Assad fighters and weapons on Thursday. The Ministry of Interior, in cooperation with the Military Operations Department, begins a wide-scale combing operation in the neighborhoods of Homs City, Wadi al-Dahab and Akrama. The search was carried out by fighters from the ruling Islamist Hayat Tahrir al-Sham group, which led the campaign that ousted Assad last month. A security official said the operation aims to look for war criminals and those involved in crimes who refuse to hand over their weapons and go to the settlement centers, but also hidden ammunition and weapons. A security official said that the operation aims to look for war criminals and fugitives from justice as well as hidden weapons. Since Islamist-led rebels overthrew Assad last month, the transitional government has ordered all members of Assad's former security forces to hand their weapons over and surrender to the Islamist fighters or face trial. And the breakaway Moldovan region of Transnistria faces an escalating energy crisis after Russia cut gas supplies, forcing almost industry to shut down. The halt came as Gazprom's severe ties over a financial dispute with Moldova's government, coinciding with the collapse of a gas transit deal through Ukraine. Now the region struggles to survive burning coal for power as over 70,000 households endure a harsh winter without heating or hot water. Schools and universities have switched to remote learning and residents resort to gathering firewood to stay warm. The rest of Moldova has been spared for now, able to secure power imports from neighboring Romania. It was already cut off from direct Russian gas but still relied on a major Russian-supplied power plant in Transnistria for electricity. The United States is considering new rules to address risk posed by drones with tech from foreign adversaries like China and Russia. While commercial drones are common in the world's biggest economy, the Commerce Department warned that involvement by U.S. rivals may offer our adversaries the ability to remotely access and manipulate these devices, exposing sensitive U.S. data. The decision on new rules will fall to the incoming administration of President-elect Donald Trump. Flagging the risk from China and Russia, the Commerce Department said these countries can leverage their political and legal frameworks to co-opt private entities for national interests. The latest effort could lead to restrictions or bans involving Chinese drones, a market that China dominates. A U.S. judicial policy-making body on Thursday rejected a request by Democratic lawmakers to refer conservative U.S. Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas to the Department of Justice. The appeal was made to examine claims that he failed to disclose gifts and travel provided by a wealthy benefactor. The secretary to the U.S. Judicial Conference cited amendments Thomas had made to his annual financial disclosure reports. The Democratic lawmakers had made the request in an April 2023 letter following reports by ProPublica and others that Thomas, a member of the Supreme Court's 6-3 conservative majority, had not reported gifts including luxury travel from wealthy Texas businessman and Republican donor Harlan Crow. Let's now take a look at other stories making news around the world. In the winding alleys of Shiraz in southern Iran, artist Adil Yazdi has taken it upon himself to turn his rustic old neighborhood into a cultural and touristic hub through vibrant paintings and carved relief faces. Once neglected, the walls now narrate the stories of local lives, blending art with heritage to attract visitors and revive community spirit. Icebergs were seen during the Vendée Globe single-handed round-the-world sailing race for first time since 2008. Icebergs had been confirmed by CLS, an organization working with Vendée Globe, which uses satellites and teams of experts to monitor ice from space. The isolated icebergs had been seen north of the Antarctic exclusion zone along the Vendée Globe route. Hundreds of Middle Jurassic dinosaur footprints, including tracks of the 9-meter predator Megalosaurus, have been uncovered by researchers in an Oxfordshire quarry in southern England. The dig at Dewars Farm quarry found 5 extensive trackways, one of which measured more than 150 meters in length. Quarry worker Gary Johnson discovered ancient footprints while stripping clay, leading to a June excavation by over 100 researchers who unearthed around 200 footprints. In the annual letter of the year, Cuba's Yoruba Association priests urged action against rising delinquency and advised Santeria followers to prioritize health, family and spending while avoiding crime and alcohol amidst the economic crisis. The letters are annual prophecies guiding Santeria followers on coping with misfortune and disease. Millions of Cubans practice the ritual-filled religion which fuses Catholicism with ancient African beliefs. Still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Maldives Foreign Affairs Minister Abdullah Khalil in New Delhi for a 2-day official visit. Railway Minister Ashwini Vaishnav to be on a day-long visit to Assam to flag off 3 trains from Guwahati railway station. And Novak Djokovic powers into quarterfinals of the Brisbane International.
Embark on a timeless journey. Unravel the mysteries of a grandiose era. A treasure trove of royal and sacred complexes, temples, shrines, pillared halls, mandapas, rock-cut memorials and more. A spectacular setting of rugged landscape and exemplary workmanship, representing the best of Dravidian architecture. Every structure carved out as a unique artistic creation. A heritage landmark that reflects pure magnificence, integrated within its natural environment. An unexplored haven for nature and adventure enthusiasts. An imposing heritage reflected in its street bazaars and annual festivals of music and culture. Come, be mesmerized by the glorious capital of the Vijayanagar Empire.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Some more stories. Maldives Foreign Affairs Minister Abdullah Khalil arrived in New Delhi on Thursday for a two-day official visit. He will be meeting India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar today. According to the Ministry of External Affairs, the Foreign Minister's first official visit to India highlights the comprehensive economic and maritime security partnership between the two sides. The partnership was discussed during President Mohammad Muizzu's 5-day visit to India in October 2024. He is the first foreign minister to visit India in 2025. Iranian Deputy Foreign Minister for Political Affairs Majid Takht-Ravanchi is also in New Delhi. He is expected to hold talks with External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar and Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri. The visiting leader will also participate in the 19th round of Iran-India political consultations. Iran and India have a long-standing historical relationship underscored by cultural and economic ties and formalized by 2003 Strategic Partnership Agreement. This partnership has flourished, particularly in the fields of energy and trade, with bilateral trade reaching an impressive $17.5 billion in 2022-23. India and Bangladesh have announced that they have agreed to release the fishermen in each other's custody after they crossed the border. According to the agreement, Bangladesh will hand over 95 Indian fishermen to Indian authorities on January 5, while India will release 90 Bangladeshi fishermen on the same day. In a statement, the Ministry of External Affairs said in recent months, several Indian fishermen have been arrested by Bangladesh authorities who inadvertently crossed the international maritime boundary line and entered the country's waters. Several Bangladeshi fishermen have also been apprehended by Indian authorities in similar circumstances. The MEA said the mutual exchange of fishermen and their vessels had been worked out, keeping in mind the humanitarian and livelihood concerns of fishing communities on both sides. A severe cold wave envelopes North India. The India Met Department has issued cold wave dense fog alerts across the region. Delhi is experiencing its coldest temperatures in years as the city reported significant drops in temperatures, prompting shelters for the homeless and gatherings around bonfires as residents brace for the chill. Meanwhile, dense fog and poor air quality also gripped New Delhi, reducing visibility in parts of the city dropped to 0 meters. The air quality index remained in the poor category at 278 as of Thursday. India's Himachal Pradesh is set to witness fresh snowfall and rainfall. According to the Met Department, the state is expected to experience heavy rainfall on January 5 and 6, while the plains and low hills will likely remain dry. Let's take a look at other stories making news today. India's Union Minister Ashwini Vaishnav will be on a day-long visit to northeastern state Assam on Friday. During the visit, the minister will flag off 3 trains from Guwahati railway station. He will flag off Guwahati New Lakhimpur Jan Shatabdi Express, New Bongaigaon Guwahati passenger train and Tinsukia Naharlagun Express. In a virtual ceremony, the minister will also inaugurate a 10 kilowatt FM transmitter at Akashwani Kokrajhar. Officials noted that this addition will expand FM coverage within a 70-kilometer radius, offering high-quality broadcast to over 30 lakh residents. India's Bharatiya Janata Party has appointed election officers for the election of the state presidents and National Council members of the party. The list includes the names of union ministers and senior party leaders. Union Minister Bhupendra Yadav has been appointed as election officer for Gujarat, while Union Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan has been given the responsibility of Karnataka. Besides, Union Minister Piyush Goyal has been appointed as the election officer for Uttar Pradesh. Union Minister Manohar Lal has been tasked with Bihar. Dharmendra Pradhan will oversee an election in Madhya Pradesh, and Kiran Rijiju has been given the responsibility of Sikkim. The grand preparations for the 76th Republic Day celebrations are in full swing as defence personnel have commenced their parade rehearsal in Delhi. The practice session at Kartavya Path saw a display of precision and discipline, setting the stage for the upcoming national event. Sports updates now. We'll start with cricket. India won the toss and chose to bat first in the 5th and final test of the Border Gavaskar Trophy against Australia in Sydney on Friday. Jasprit Bumrah is leading the Indian team after regular skipper Rohit Sharma opted to sit out, citing poor form. Openers KL Rahul and Yashasvi Jaiswal fell cheaply. Mitchell Starc and Scott Boland picked the first 2 wickets for Australia, while Virat Kohli earned an early lifeline. Australia lead the 5-match series 2-1 after their 184-run victory late on day 5 in Melbourne earlier in the week. They will regain the Border Gavaskar Trophy for the first time since 2015 if they win or draw. While earlier on Thursday, Indian coach Gautam Gambhir declined to confirm that captain Rohit Sharma would play the 5th test, committing only to naming the team before the toss. Skipper Rohit has struggled for runs in the first 4 tests of the 5-match series. In fact, he didn't play the first test. Gambhir also broke silence on dressing room leaks, stating that debates between players and coaches should remain in dressing room and that everything is under control in the dressing room, but admitted he had honest conversations with the team after losing the Melbourne test to go 2-1 down in the current series. While Bumrah today at toss said that Rohit has shown leadership by opting to rest in this game, which shows that there is a lot of unity in the team and no selfishness. As we speak, India were 57 for 3, losing Yashasvi Jaiswal, KL Rahul and Shubman Gill before lunch on day 1. In tennis, Novak Djokovic and Aryna Sabalenka powered into the Brisbane International quarterfinals on Thursday. Djokovic cruised past fellow veteran Gael Monfils 6-3, 6-3 in 72 minutes. The 37-year-old Serbian registered his 20th straight win over the Frenchman in an entertaining clash. In the women's draw, while number 1 Sabalenka beat Kazakhstan's Yulia Putintseva, Sabalenka fought back from 5-3 down in the first set to eventually win the match 7-6, 6-4 in 1 hour and 49 minutes. Well, that's all for this edition of DD India Live, but do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Abhishek Mahajan from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.